No matter how much you want to succeed in real estate, is it worth divorce or ruining a relationship? Because that happens all the time. I'm joined today by my wife, Glenn, and today we're going to talk about how you navigate the tricky waters of real estate, business, and life, and keeping an amazing relationship.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
Thanks for being in today.
You're welcome.
You look
Hi,
hot.
guys.
You are in fine form.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you.
My wife and I are celebrating 18 years of marriage,
Yep.
4 little human beings.
I know, because
that
we got
create
married
chaos.
when we were very young.
I know, yeah. So Glenn, there's been a ton of people that have wanted to know, like, all right, I feel like the business or real estate is getting in the way of my relationship, and that's because the polarity of like men and women in general, or at least masculine and feminine energy, right? Like the masculine energy wants to dominate, wants to win, wants to create, wants to provide. And the feminine energy is often like creates beauty and flow and wants security, right?
And it's funny because it's not always a male and a female energy.
No.
Sometimes the woman is the one that's the dominating and the man is the one that's, let's be careful and secure. It happens a lot.
But there's always that polarity, right?
Yes.
It's rarely like, if both are gunning for it, I'm terrified. I'm like, you guys are going to get burned so bad.
Yeah.
Because you need someone to hit the brakes and say, let me put some sense into you.
And that's totally where we were, where I was very, let's be safe, let's not do anything crazy, especially because we were so young when we started this.
Yeah. First of all, when I told you I wanted to be a doctor, I actually want to really know, like, what did you think about that?
Really?
Yeah, for real.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I think a woman would be thinking, but I'm a man, so I'm going to be wrong. What were you thinking?
Okay, because you tell this story all the time. You guys probably all know this story. I was like, yes. Because I was thinking 10 years of medical school and residency, tons of debt, tons of work, me not seeing you. If we had kids.
Wait, you're saying you didn't want me to be a doctor?
Secretly, no.
All right.
Did you not know this?
Dude, I think there's a lot of women that are like, dude, what a catch. That guy's going to medical school.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But I knew how many years of like work, like I just knew how difficult it would be to get there.
Okay, then
So
let me
I was
ask you,
okay with that.
Then when I couldn't find out what I wanted to be when I grew up and I was trying on all these careers, then what did you think?
This is where I just held space for you. And because I knew whatever you figured out you wanted to do, you'd be good at it.
Yeah, but then when I went into like real estate and entrepreneurship, which basically is like for the more safe and secure persona, it's like, where's their safety in business? Where's it, like, it's all risk. Like
Yeah.
the idea of real estate, like, did that bother you? What did you think about it?
It was definitely new and different because, I came from a family where you're supposed to be around 30 when you finally buy your first house after 10 years of like saving and saving and saving.
Right.
And I was 21 and you were 23.
Right.
And so it definitely felt premature, like we're still in college and how in the world do we even know what we're doing?
So do you remember when I bought that first house?
Yes.
And it was like a junker. Like
It was so
It
gross.
was disgusting. Do you remember that fridge?
No,
Dude,
we're
you
not
have to
even
tell-
talking.
No, it might throw up on camera if we talk about the fridge.
No.
It's like they had turned off the power a month earlier,
And they-
at
they-
the first,
yes.
they've left it full, and at the first crack, purple sludge comes out, and we
They
almost-
moved out and forgot to take their food. And the power was off for about 3 weeks.
and we were so poor that we're like,
so
we have to save this fridge. We went in
No,
with
we
like
tried.
gloves and hazmat
We tried
suits.
to not buy a new fridge, and we had
bleached
to.
the heck out of that thing.
It still smelled so bad, we had to haul it to the curb with a sign that said,
Please take me."
take me.
Yeah.
And we did that. And then I remember they had 2 Great Danes that were in the house and stayed in the house. And the outside, it was so gross because
wasn't good.
they left everything.
What were you thinking about your husband when I did that?
Well, I remember what I said to you, which was, there is no way in bleep I am living in this house unless every odor is gone.
Sanitized, yeah.
These people, they smoked in the house, and there were like picture frames on the bare walls where you could see where like the smoke was like on the walls. It was
Yeah,
that bad.
it was like the nicotine was everywhere. Like it was
Yes,
disgusting.
it
Rat
was
poop,
so gross.
mouse
So
poop, dog
this
poop,
one-
cat poop,
this
all
one-
poop,
this
probably
one
human
probably-
feces poop.
This one was probably the most challenging as a first because it was a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have to do that again,
Dude,
which
I-
we didn't. And later we figured out we didn't have to do that every time. But this was our very first experience.
Yeah.
It ended up being great because when we moved in, it was lovely.
Yeah, it really was. It was beautiful. I remember before we got carpet in, like, I remember like the walls were painted pink and I got out of the bed and I had to put my shoes on because we didn't even have anything down yet. Like, we created some really beautiful memories in that house.
It's true.
When we bought our second house though, and we weren't really going to be like occupying that house, then what did you think?
I'm one of those people that just needs the details and needs the numbers. And when I got the numbers of like how much we could buy it for, how much it was worth, how much we could rent it for, the costs of, you know, the little bit of rehab that we did need to do on that one, and saw that there was like substantial cash flow. And, you know, I think the trust was, can we get a renter in quickly?
Yeah.
Which we did.
Yeah, and that's always the
And
fear,
we got
right?
and we got a down payment from them.
Yep, we got a down payment. They moved. That was the lease option.
Yeah, and they ended up living there for like 10 years.
Yep.
We owned that house forever, probably
know.
15 years.
When we sold it, we made a grundle. That was
did.
a 6-figure profit. It was
So,
like 130 or
so
whatever.
that was a fabulous second one where we didn't have quite the hassle of the first one.
Yeah. I always remember the moment when it really clicked because there were moments of friction. Like, you were tentatively like, all right, I'm getting used to this dude.
Oh, I was totally freaked out.
Yeah, and I felt like I was like, it's okay.
And it was, what am I
breathe.
going to tell my parents?
It's like,
Or what are my
"Trust me, I've
friends
never done
going to
this
think
before.
of me?
Trust me, I've never done this before.
I know.
Like, just total joke, right? But you went with it long enough, and I think that it was 3 months after we bought our second house that you're like, there's like $600 left over every month. What am I supposed to do with it? I'm like, I don't know. What have you been doing?
No, I'll spend it. No, accounting wise, it was, I didn't know you could have multiple lines for multiple income streams.
We just had our job for
and,
income.
And I just thought that was so cool.
Well, the first house now had the basement that was producing.
Yeah.
The second house was a positive
And
cash
that's
flow.
and that's when the lightning like hit, and it was, wait, how much are our expenses, and is there a way to just get passive income from real estate coming in to be able to just knock it out and not have to work?
So let me ask you this question, Glenn. What do you do with either men or women married to a spouse that is gung-ho about real estate and business, does not have a perfect track record, and their spouse is skeptical? First of all, what do you think skepticism will do to the opportunity?
Well, kill it.
How so?
Well, because I'm a firm believer that you really shouldn't do anything really important, even if when there is risk involved, unless both partners are on the same page.
This is the problem that I see happen all the time, is you've got basically a couple who really wants to get in the game of real estate, or I should say at least one of them does, but they've been burned before. That's always the story, because dude, things don't work out. The whole journey of developing security and freedom, if you rely just on a job isn't going to provide you anything more than day-to-day security and a little bit of retirement. If you really want to figure something more substantial out, you're going to have to find a way to like get on the same page and ultimately figure out what can we do as a team to like weather the storms when things fall apart. How are we going to like stay in this when things aren't going our way? And how do we get back up and keep trying? Because the moment one of you becomes skeptical enough to say, I'm out and I'm done, you have a really big problem, because then the other one is impotent and can't act. And you're basically saying, well, whatever we're doing financially is all we're ever going to do, and you're about to lose your biggest asset, time. And you lose time, a day will come when you have to financially get your act together. And if you don't have any more time, then you're left to desperate measures, which really just means you're going to succumb to a pathetic retirement. You're going to have to keep on working into your late whatevers.
And most people, it takes a while to realize that most people's salaries will never be enough for retirement unless you invest in something.
Yeah. So, Glenn, are you happy you took a bet on me?
Of course I am.
Well, we took a bet on each other.
Did a good job.
And we took a bet on each other, and we showed up for each other in really big ways.
And for people out there that want to invest in real estate, I would say the best thing to do is find somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Find someone who has a track record.
Are you indicating me? Oh my gosh, this is like the first time in my life. I think my
It's
wife.
my first time I've endorsed
I think
you.
my wife is endorsing. She's like, finally, after 18 years and 4,000 deals and $1 billion, I'm finally ready to say he might be worth looking at. Thank
Okay,
you.
just so you know, I read your comments. I actually do.
Yeah,
And
so some of you haters,
No.
my wife's always like, some of these people are really mean.
well, sometimes people are like, is this guy legit? Especially women out there who are like, you know, this guy from the internet, there's no way he could be a real guy. He's real. And he actually has done all this real estate, and his programs and his team are amazing. So I'd say go for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Listen, for those of you that are out there, I can't believe it. This is weird. Like, my wife is
This is
like,
weird.
actually, I feel like you're pimping me out right now. I'm like,
Don't use that word.
okay, well, this is just kind of like, this is a first.
Yeah.
Listen, today's video was just to say, We get it if there's strain and struggle out there, and you got to find a way to fight through. You got to find a way to come together. You got to find a way to get on the same page, because you don't want to choose real estate and business or your relationship. You're going to have to find a way to get back up and wipe off the blood off your face and then go back into it again, no matter how many times, because the alternative sucks. It's far worse. At the end of the day, I'm thankful that I have a friend and a partner that was there with me when we had nothing, and that is here with me today. We get to enjoy what we have today. We have truly a magical life, but it's because I think we found our way together, and we had to know when to trust each other. So thank you for that. And for those of you, that want to take my wife up on her daring first endorsement of her husband ever after 18 years, there's a link to you below that will give you some information on how you can partner with me. And click that link and it'll tell you how you can get into real estate with no money and no credit, which is one of my favorite things to do. I love helping people. I love the underdog. I was the total consummate underdog. What did I have going? Who believed in me besides you? Like, everyone was skeptical. Everyone was just like, dude, go to college, get your degree, work for somebody else. And I put myself on a different path, and you were there for me. But frankly, nobody else was. So if you feel like, if that resonates with you, click that link below and learn that you have options, that you've got other people in your corner that believe in you and can be a mentor for you and help show you the way. Other than that, Clint, should they subscribe?
Absolutely.
Like on a scale of 1 out of 10, 10 being like really important and 1 being not so important.
Like a 20.
It's a 20. So if you subscribe, and by the way, smash that like button. It tells YouTube that you got some value out of today's video. I certainly hope you did. That's why we make these. And I want to thank my beautiful wife for being here with me today. We will see you guys on tomorrow's video.